Hey everyone, good to see everybody today, or not see everybody, people might see me, at least on a recap. So Jeff Bruno, you're outsourced CFO, and B. Modler, we do both now. You're outsourced CFO, financial management and reporting. B. Modler is comprehensive performance management and understanding your concept and how it can really be quantified and approach the marketplace. So good to be on today. So let's see what we got for questions. I'll jump right in. All right, first submitter is from Rohit Gupta. Rohit asks, are core values and a value statement interrelated? What is the difference? Business description. I have a set of core values for my company and about to write a value statement. I'm not sure if I can explain why I'm using such core values for a type of culture I want or if it's targeted at a specific audience. So Rohit, I'm not sure how this is related to finance or strategy or performance, but I can jump in a little bit. So, core values and a value statement, I'm not the expert here on this, but I would say that whatever value you're trying to produce for your customers needs to align with how you perform that service or produce that product. So your culture and how you perform internally needs to align with what your customers are expecting from you. So I'll just give an example. Let's say you offer some kind of service and your customers demand that they hear from you weekly. And in that weekly meeting, they want to see some progress or they want to understand where they are or whatever it may be. So in your value, in your company, you have to have a structure where client engagement and client weekly touch points can be set up in such a way where they're productive. And your support team has to make sure the people who are interacting with the client are not just meandering or giving them non-helpful, non-tangible pieces of information. So you have to set up a culture to support that whole environment. And then support the customer and what their desire is. So that's the value piece. So I think they do come together and are interchangeable, most likely with how you're trying to set up your business model. So let's go to the next question. Submitter is Billy Rosales. So Billy says, any tips on SEO? How important or not has SEO been for your business? Their business is a construction company. So Billy, I have no idea on marketing. I don't use SEO in our business. We're all word of mouth. We're still a small business. And I'm just not sure on the effectiveness of SEO. I mean, I hear anecdotally from other clients of ours, we have e-commerce clients and so on, that SEO is extremely helpful if you do it right. And if you spend the time, your organic results should really drive a lot of business for you, but not my area. Hopefully that helps. Next question from Billy Rosales. When do you know you are ready to hire others? A construction company is sometimes slow during the winter, but picks up for a good 7 months overall. So Billy, you are in a construction business. So I would tell you I have absolutely no idea, zero idea on when you should hire. So let me be clear on why I'm saying that. Construction business is project to project. You're not doing construction constantly. As you note, in the winter you're off, then you have 7 months, you have projects. Now I don't know what type of construction you're doing, but most likely you're doing project to project because once the project's done, you got to go to your next project. So in construction, you have to deal with project sort of scenarios. So you got to bring people in, finish the project, go to the next project, bring people in. So it's very hard to decide when you need to hire because you don't know certain levels of when you're going to hit, a need for more people, or you want to have people like 1099 people who are available to ramp up in a project scenario. So I think the real question is, what is your internal supporting team needs? What are their needs? So I would say, what are your needs in your internal team? So you need a financial projection team. So if you have an asset management construct, so if you're building things and you're holding them and you're managing assets, then you want somebody who understands how to asset manage projects or assets, and you have to set up a whole system for that, because under construction, if you own the assets, then you cost differently during construction than you do post, when the construction has a CO or a CO, and you're live running the deal. So there's different costing structures there. So you need to know, when do I need to have a controller or somebody who's good at running asset management? If you don't own anything, you're just jumping project to project. Okay, I need somebody who knows how to do project finance and allocate finances for me along different project scopes. Maybe even some of the overhead construct that I have in-house across different projects. So you would want somebody to be able to do that. So at what volume and what complexity do you get to where you need that in-house controller? That's a question. I don't know the answer to that, because I don't know what kind of construction you're doing, but that's something you want to ask yourself, and that's probably one of your first hires, because managing the assets and or the builds costing-wise to P&L after are really a critical component of construction. Full stop. And if you dabble in development, obviously, then that's the asset side. But those are the critical pieces. So your first hire is probably someone on the project finance side, when you start to get too complex. Then you might want like maybe an admin or something after that to help support the other logistical pieces of supply and having stuff on location and so on, and making sure all the pieces come together. So like a project manager, account manager, that's probably the next hire that you can't get. Once you get so many projects running to get consecutively or together, you need that project manager to oversee the whole scenario, versus just like independent people running their own jobs that you're sort of high level supervising. So those are the two biggest hires, I think, as you start to get up to volume levels. I don't know what those volume levels are. It's really when you cap out, or when you have enough cash in the bank to say, all right, it's time for me to pull the trigger and get this finance person in, or get this project manager in. I think that's it. If I knew more about your business contract, I might be able to be a little more precise. But that was a great question. So, sorry I don't know anything about SEO. But there's another thing. So, what is your marketing spend? And who's doing your marketing? That might be a hire as well at some point. That's down the road when you really get some traction, but another thing to think about. Next question is from Lysandra Wilson. How can I be more organized in and with my business, especially when managing different orders and client projects such as weddings and large parties, as well as business documents, contacts, etc.? I have a baking business specializing in custom cakes and dessert tables. There are a variety of orders, contracts, and documents that need to keep and stay organized to save time and stay on top of each order to be efficient. Okay, Lysandra, hear me on this. Hear me very clearly. I don't care about the organization of your documents. Again, why am I saying that? Why am I so mean? Why I'm saying that is, it doesn't matter. The organization of your documents, you can hand off to somebody. You can hand it off to an outsourced resource. You can use technology to support it. You can have an admin for $18 an hour do this for you at some point organized. Do not worry about that. That's an easy, low-cost construct. You can have some admin come in for 20 hours a week and organize all this stuff. And it'll cost you $300 a week, $360 a week. And you might need it, but that's an easy lift. That's an easy maneuver. Here's what you need to be, if you're in the baking business. We've had clients in the baking business. Here's what you need to be most focused on. What your employees are doing. The utility effect, the utility function of your employees, and where they're spending the time, and what is the most smart and effective use of their time to get your products out the door timely and for what people want, so bestsellers and so on, and get them out. That is usually, outside of the commodity cost of the products going up and down, and the demand function going up and down, which obviously is hard to manage too, but your employee scenario is the hardest to manage. So I would set up a great system for that. So when you start to ramp up in sales, you know where to plug people for the most efficient management of their time. That is going to cause you the most disruption versus a managing of your paperwork, in my opinion. I think that's an easy thing to organize and have someone low cost take care of it for you. Manage where the most effective use of people's time is. And here's another piece on that. Because in baking and in that, with all the fluctuations in commodity prices and so on, and with their goods that are what's the word I'm looking for? They're disposable goods or whatever. They don't last. They don't have a longevity. So you can't overbuy too much or underbuy. So you have to manage that really, really tightly, because your profit margins are not that big. They're pretty thin on that. So you have to manage that, which involves managing what your employees are doing to make sure your product is really aligning with demand as it's going out, and you're like sort of just in time with your products. Otherwise, you're never going to make any money, because there's not enough margin in that baking process and the cost of the ingredients and so on, and the refrigeration and the space and all the time you need for that. So that's just my 2 cents there, but spend your time on that. And I think that's the best way to be organized is on that front. Hopefully that was really helpful for you. Good. Well, this was it on the questions today, guys. Really fast, quick. End of day for me, so I'm wiped anyway. But please, keep the financial and operational strategic related questions coming my way. Please. I can add a lot of value here, and I'm happy to jump on these questions and help anybody who needs thought. I love doing it. It's what I live for. So that's all I got for today. Everyone take care. Bye.